On for PG, who knew that he needed to step up with the series tied at 2, and that is exactly what he did, delivering a superstar performance with 37 points, a playoff career high, 16 rebounds, and 5 assists, and leading the Clippers to a 119-111 win over the Jazz. Ty Lue, what did this performance mean?
That was a big statement. I mean, just all that outside noise, it really doesn't matter. Like, they just try to make up anything, but man, he's a great player. Like I said tonight, he carried us.
I've been in Indiana where, I had to lead a franchise, and so the beauty here is I get to do that with one of the best in the world in Kawhi. Now Kawhi's down. It was just that mindset being back in Indy, having to, set the tone and come out and lead the ball club. That's really the mindset that I came out with.
Yeah, I had the.
Can't call him Pandemic P or nothing like that anymore. Paul George stepped up tonight. PG-13 stepped up, handled his business. Without Kawhi Leonard, in a hostile environment like Utah, Paul George did his thing. Got to give him love. Got to give him props. Donovan Mitchell ain't 100%. We can all see that. Utah ain't the same when he ain't 100%. We can all see that. And now it's up to the Clippers to close the deal and get to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history, assuming they handle their business Friday night. If you can handle your business in Game 5, you can handle your business in Game 6. But Paul George did his thing. I wish I could say the same about the Philadelphia 76ers. What a disgrace. What a disgraceful performance. You blow a 26-point lead. Seth Curry and Joel Embiid are the only dudes that score a basket in the entire second half. Tobias Harris, what's up? What the hell? And Ben Simmons. There's nothing more I can say about you, bro. You got one Achilles heel, you can't shoot. Have you ever worked on your shot? Ever? No points in the second half, 4-14 shooting from the free throw line. Talk about it's mental. Duh! Hell yeah, it's mental something. I mean, damn. What are y'all doing in the offseason, man? Ben Simmons, you can't work on your shot? Tobias Harris, all those tools you got, you can shoot, you can handle, you got an NBA body, you strong, you can finish at the basket, you hit free throws. You can't score a basket in the entire second half. God help the Sixers, they lose this series. Y'all ain't gonna never be able to live this down. Seriously.
Privilege of covering Paul George, who was with the Pacers for those years, so he does know what it's like to be a leader. But Key, I propose this to you. Is Paul George enough to lead the Clippers to the finals?
No. The Western Conference Finals, probably so, but not the actual NBA Finals. And here's what I say to that. Yes, he was in Indy, and he did a terrific job in terms of trying to get the Pacers over the hump. But this team is about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's not there right now. All you got to think is if they get to the Western Conference Final, Monte Williams is not about to allow Paul George to put up 37 points. He's not going to do that. He's going to make everybody else around them try and do their job. That's what's going to happen. Jackson's got to step up to the plate. He's got to play a certain way. Patrick Beverly's got to play a certain way. So when you start to think about it, Paul George is not enough to win an NBA title, let alone get him to the finals. Phoenix is a really good basketball team right now. I'm assuming that Chris Paul plays in those games. I'm not assuming that Chris Paul, based on the protocols that's happening with him right now, that he won't be there. I think he'll be there, but I don't think that he is at all enough to get it done.
I think, yes, because I think confidence, it comes from demonstrated performance. And what he just demonstrated for you is he can win them a game without Kawhi Leonard. He can carry the team like we remember him in Indiana doing.
One game.
Yeah.
And it's one game, but it's demonstrated performance. Now I know I can because it's no longer Pandemic P. It's Playoff P. It's a guy that I think had to almost show himself that he could still do it at that level, and he did against a really good defensive team in the Jazz. That's a really good defensive team. It's a very well-coached team. And they had no answers for him. And he was making some big shots. You do mention the supporting cast. What star doesn't need a supporting cast to help him get somewhere? Marcus Morris had a big game as well. And you mentioned Reggie Jackson. He's going to need to step up. There's no doubt about it. in a series against the Suns that we don't know when Chris Paul is going to be available to them. We have no idea.
Well, I'm assuming
Maybe
Chris,
later.
I'm assuming
Sure.
Chris Paul is going to be there. You said one game. Yeah. Can he do it on a consistent basis? He hasn't shown us throughout his career, even in Indy, when they got into the playoffs, that he could do it on a consistent night in and night out.
Well, this is his third consecutive game with 30 points. That is the longest in his career, so he is building on that right now.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, it is what he needed was that game. What he needed was last night, and I feel like that could help propel him because of the question marks about Chris Paul, because of the guard play and the toughness of the guard play that the Clippers do have, and the fact that when you look at the landscape, there's not a lot left. If you think about all the injuries that are going on around playoffs right now, he's one of the best players left standing that is healthy. Knock on wood, of course. So can he do it? I think he can. Will he? Well, that's a
Well, I think when you run into Phoenix, you running into Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Is there an answer? So let's remove Chris Paul from the equation for a few games.
Paul George does play defense, so he would be guarding one of those top guys.
But do you have an answer for Ayton if he's guarding Booker? Do you have an answer for Booker if they decide to move him on Ayton? You got to think they don't have enough. And I don't think Patrick Beverly would be the answer on Booker. So, and then if Chris Paul is there, now you're really in trouble. And I just don't believe that 37 points is going to get it done, because those other guys that you mentioned, Marcus Moore, Reggie Jackson, are they going to come on a consistent basis and give you what they gave you against Utah?
They have to. They have to. And this time of year, it starts ratcheting up. You know this.
But it's not about they have to.
You do whatever it
takes. Are they
takes.
going to, though? That's the question. Are they going to?
Well, the question was, is Paul George enough to lead them to the finals? That means get past the Suns. My answer is yes, he can. Now, will he? Of course, if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Vegas.
Okay, well, let's not even look that far ahead. What would it mean for the Clippers franchise? I mean, in the past, when they've been in the position, right now they're one win away from reaching the conference finals. In the past, being in this position, they've been 0-8. What would it mean for this franchise to even get to the conference finals with Paul George at the helm?
It would mean for them that, at least because they went all in on these two stars, that getting Kawhi, then Kawhi said, I want Paul George, and Steve Ballmer went all in, whatever we need, whatever we've got to do, traded away a lot of good young pieces, a lot of assets as well that Oklahoma City has, or had for the most part. It's for them, it starts to pay off, that kind of investment in this team. It's great for them. Does it take the franchise closer to the Lakers?
No, don't even start that.
Is it LA guy? Of course not.
Not even close.
Of course not.
Nowhere near.
But they've never been this far before. They've never gotten just to the conference final. Never done this before.
I mean, if that's a birthday, it deserves a birthday cake because you make it to the finals. Great.
For them, it might.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you got to start somewhere.
They're building a new stadium in Inglewood, mind you, on one of the closest sites to the Great Western Forum. So they're still trying to hover around the Laker presence. They're already renting in the building.
No matter where you go in LA, there's Laker presence. So there's nothing you can do about it.
It's like, okay,
Lakers
it's good. It's not going to be a situation where all of a sudden things flip to the Clippers. It's good that they've never been there, and they've advanced further if they get there than they've ever been before.
Well, who cares?
Great.
Who cares? Why do they have to eclipse the Lakers? What they need to do is be successful. Just be successful. The Mets have never eclipsed the Yankees in New York. Never. But they've won world championships. And in doing so, their fan base continued to grow to a point where they are established.
Not happening in Los Angeles, but
no, never.
Okay, so Key, because you're the pessimist here as it pertains to this subject, what will it mean for Kawhi's future if they don't make it to the conference finals?
Well,
in LA, that is.
Well, first of all, Charlie, he needs to get back healthy. So we don't even know where the injury really truly is. We just know that he has some knee issues going on until we actually get the final diagnosis on what that is. I think if they make it there, then there's an opportunity, a chance for him to stay. If they don't make it, he's got to scratch his head to figure out, I put this thing together, along with Paul George, that made a decision at the end of the season that they were not happy with Doc Rivers, and for whatever reason, they made a stink about it. Doc Rivers eventually gone. He's now in Philly. That's a lot to think about, and so do I abandon what I put together to go chase something else, or do I finish the deal in Los Angeles?
You went Scarface. Who put this together? Me, I did. But that's legit what went on there. Steve Ballmer basically gave him the keys. What do you want? What do you need? Including the coach. Made a change with the coach. And so for Kawhi, It is on you, and you can't leave it behind, and especially off of an injury. You know, it would say a lot about him, and I wonder how his reputation would be now around the league if he did, bail on this franchise. I don't see it happening.
I don't think he's worried about his reputation, and I don't know that. I think in today's NBA, as we know, players move around. That's just what they do. You can see Kevin Durant leaves Golden State, comes to Brooklyn. LeBron leaves Miami, goes back to Cleveland, and bolts Cleveland for LA. That's just what guys do in today's NBA. I mean, think about Jimmy Butler. What was he? Minnesota, Chicago, Minnesota.
He was traded.
Philadelphia.
He was traded.
But I'm saying he still was on different teams. Now he's in Miami. So guys move around.
So it will just depend on what opportunities are available?
If he's
There's no
healthy,
better
I want him.
opportunity than where he is.
Yeah,
There's no great. He
The locker
has.
room right around the corner.
He gets whatever he wants. He'll have whatever he wants there. Steve Ballmer is no dummy. He will, whatever you need, whatever you want, I will get it for you. He certainly can pay for it. They are working on the arena, as you said, get their own identity close to home for him. There is no other opportunity for him to go to. Wherever else he goes, he's a visitor. That's actually home because that's his franchise. I don't think he's ever had that where it's his franchise. Remember, he was traded to Toronto. He didn't really want to go there. He went there and won a championship. Didn't stay long. San Antonio never felt like his. Pop was the big presence. The guys before him, Tim Duncan, all them, Tony Parker. That's their franchise. This is the first time where I do think that as he sets roots, this becomes his franchise. And if he can win a title there, that's probably the biggest title he could win.
What good is a franchise if you don't have a title? If you can't get a title?
Well, that's the next thing. Get there.
But I don't think, and the reason I bring this up is it's going to be more difficult moving forward to get a title because
Why is that?
The Golden State Warriors are going to get healthy again. Klay Thompson is in the building. Rich Paul and that group in LA Clutch, whoever's
the other
running
LA, Lakers.
They're going to go out and retool no matter what Rob Pelinka says. The Denver Nuggets are going to get better when Murray comes back. Utah's only going to get better. Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton is ascending on the right target for his career. No, you don't hear people say, "Oh, that was a bad pick for Phoenix. They should trade him." You don't hear that. What you hear is he's starting to show something. So when you start to look out west, the West is only going to get better. What's going to happen with